Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Anna Sothen with the In Crowd. And so Aaron and I were just talking about, he said that this is either a clown nose or Grover.
Or maybe a Muppet nose.
Muppet. And I asked him who Grover was, and he was like, Sesame Street. And I was like, nope, I never watched it.
See, and I asked her why, and she said, well, because Italy. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, we never watched it in Italy, so it wasn't a thing over there. But anywho, all right, so I'm excited. Why am I excited?
So I don't know, you tell me.
Well, because I have you here and how much I love you. But I want to this, I think a lot of people who are going to watch this are going to be super interested because you and I technically are competitors.
Oh no.
Right? I've never, ever considered us that.
Business ever.
Yeah, absolutely. 1000%. But we're in the same industry, which is why actually specifically why I wanted to bring you on, because we do the same thing. So we understand the struggle of being an entrepreneur and what we do, because what we do is very special. So now that we got that out of the way, because people are like, what?
Okay, done.
But he's like, I will say that you're one of my dearest friends. I do, like, I consider you a dear friend. So whenever we go and we have lunch, and we intend on it being, just a regular lunch, we end up being, what was like 3 hours last time?
Yeah,
we had lunch.
was a long one.
And we were like,
good.
It was very good. And the conversation flows. So tell people who you are.
Well, I'm Aaron Swart. I own a couple of luxury magazines in the local market, Midlothian Lifestyle Magazine and Short Pump City Lifestyle Magazine. So we are, gosh, we're so focused on what's going on, the movers and shakers. We love telling stories, telling the story of folks in the community, they're doing, how they're giving back. We're very, very passionate around that. And also our partnerships are what make that magazine work. And we want our folks to feel that they're getting the best ROI, the best relationships they can, and to just forge long-term community partnerssups.
Absolutely.
Whether personal or professional.
Yeah. So, well, because that's what we do is all about, right? Is creating the sense of community, which I feel that we lost as a society. One, years ago, just because we're constantly going and doing. And I was sitting at Starbucks and I had my AirPods in, and the guy across from me was working. He was like, it's nice because you can just go and you can put your AirPods in and just think. He's like, but then it disconnects us from the rest of the world.
It does.
And then COVID happens. Right. And then we're even more isolated. And so now we're getting back to, okay, how do we create that sense of community? And that's what we're doing. We're creating that, and we're putting businesses in front of their ideal customers, but showing their customers, their clients, the people that they want to reach, hey, I'm sponsoring you, like your life, like you are, all of these things that you're doing. It's like sponsoring the kids' soccer club or the baseball club, right? Like you don't do that because you want your phone to ring off the hook. You want to do that so that people say, oh, they care about me in my life. So if they care about me, then maybe I should call them that way, right? Yep. So you mentioned something, and I think we should have a conversation about this. ROI. How do you have that conversation with ROI with your sponsors?
Wow. So it's very interesting. I think each individual partner is very different and how they take a look at ROI. Some of them are immediately in full understanding how brand recognition, awareness, putting it out there, changing it when it needs to be changed. But having that brand awareness is the most important piece for them. And others are very much focused on like tangible ROI, like monetary ROI and how they're bringing people in, and they want to count that and they want to record that. They want to measure it. And so I tried to meet them where they are, their own pain point, and work with that, but also just to let them know that the brand awareness piece, especially if they're new, is more likely going to end up being the most important piece, at least in the beginning, so that folks know, what they're doing, where they are, and what they offer the world, right? And then what's going to happen as a result of what they do, for folks. So
yeah. I feel like ROI is sort of it's an old term. I really wish that they would retire it, because there's no way to measure ROI in the world that we live in today. No tangible way to be able to say, and let me explain this, because there is a way, right? Obviously, if a business starts to increase, they can say, okay, now my ROI is worth it. However, it's not one thing.
That's right.
Back in, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, you could say, oh, I put an ad in a newspaper, and now I've gotten, 5 new customers. Well, it was because that one ad, but there weren't a million other different ways to disseminate information like there are today.
And I think,
There is
the
today.
last piece is investment, right? And return on investment. Well, what is investment?
Right.
What does that mean? What does it look like?
Mhm.
Investing the money, sure, we know that that's what's happening.
Right.
But we're also, in turn, investing, in making sure their brand is clean, clear, concise, minimalist, more
Consistent.
upscale, consistent. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can. And if some new business owners don't even understand, they're not ready with their logos and they're just, they're kind of going crazy, we offer that too. We make sure that if we're gonna invest, right, in the actual print
Right.
and digital advertising and featuring and doing all of those things, we need to make sure that they're comfortable, that they know who they are.
Yeah.
They know what they're offering the world.
Absolutely.
And then they know, what's going to happen as a result of what they do. And so the company that I started many moons ago, which is called the Brand Artisan Consulting Group, that's what I do all across the board, whether it's with the magazines or with individuals or with nonprofits or whatever. And I walk them through those 3 stages of learning, innovating, and communicating their brand. Communicating the brand always comes last.
Right.
Because if they don't really know who they are or what they offer, but maybe they do, they just haven't nailed it down in terms of, short-term, long-term goals, what they want to accomplish, how they want to appear, how they want to be seen.
Right.
All of those things that they walk through, even in their own personalities and how they're going to deal with the growth and trajectory of their businesses.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So the communication, our part
Right.
with publishing is last.
Right.
So we have to be very careful with every situation where folks are really gun shy or timid around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that as a business owner, well, in my experience, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of business owners, they just want to communicate. Like, let me just get the message out there. Let me just get the message out there.
Right.
And
They
then people are like, well, what exactly is it that you do? And they don't know how to articulate that. And so that can be, it's a putting the cart before the horse type of thing, which a lot of businesses do that. I mean, I've done that in my own, like I meet people all the time who are like, what do you do? Like, what is your job? Because I have so many things, right? And so making sure that you are very clear in your value proposition to your customers, because that's where really they're going to connect with you and be like, I need, they have, and then comes with the communication comes, oh, I know them. I've seen them. I've heard them. I've met them. I'm going to do business with them versus doing business going onto Google and finding somebody else, that type of thing.
And I think us sitting down with them and listening to them try to tell us what their unique value proposition is. That's the start.
Correct.
I think that's where we go.
Yeah.
And not what we provide them, right? Because we won't know the pain point until they begin to walk through that entire process. And they may have hiccups along the way where they're like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
And that's where we can come in with that expertise and say, okay. And I have a lot of skill sets around that. I've done that for years outside of the magazine. I'm kind of able to identify a lot of those gaps where folks aren't able to fill those things in. And so I'm grateful to be able to do that with past, current, and potential partners in the community. Yeah.
So how long Short Pump is newer. Midlothian started how long ago?
Midlothian has been about 6 years, 6+ years.
That's awesome.
And Short Pump, we launched in September of 2022.
Awesome. During the pandemic. Yeah.
That's right.
Sounds familiar.
It does. Yeah. Well, I grabbed the Midlothian Lifestyle franchise in July of 2019. And it was a kind of a takeover.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so from July until December, my first big boy issue was December.
Gotcha. Okay.
Went to training, did all the things. And then February, late January, February, COVID hit, right?
Yes.
So it was like,
oh
my. Now what?
You're right.
And we grew and we grew and we grew because people were at home.
Yes.
And our potential clients and folks that were jumping in and people who were with us recognize that to
Right.
be top of mind.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was a really great time.
That's awesome.
Continues to be so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's that's where we are very similar, is that so the feeling behind our magazines and what we provide is that people like to come home. And so when I first started this, my husband was like, I can't believe you're starting a magazine. Isn't print dead?
Really? Could he not?
No, he
Really?
couldn't, right? When I was very like dramatic too, when I said, I'm like, gonna start a magazine. And he's like, what does that mean? I was like, I don't know, we'll figure it
Did
out.
you bring him flowers?
I didn't.
You have to
No,
have
there was
it.
no, there was no
No
romantic.
apologies.
No, it was just, it was,
This is happening.
this is happening, which is normally how I tell him things, and he
Mhm.
loves it. But so he asked me, he was like, print's dead. Like, why would you get into something that is dead? And I'm like,
Print
it is not dead.
dead.
In fact, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but you're getting a lot more pieces in the mail lately.
Yep.
From postcards to flyers to,
That's right.
I got the yellow pages in my mailbox like 6 months ago. And I was like,
You mean like the whole book
the
or just,
book,
oh, wow.
the yellow pages book was
So that
dropped off.
resurrected or
Yeah.
like, yeah. Okay.
But I think what it is that people are realizing that we are so bombarded digitally. Now we both offer digital as well too, because it just enhances what we're doing in print, right? And
Yep.
just really solidifies it. But people are bombarded by digital. Like you walk outside, I mean, okay, so if you guys look behind us, this is all branding. Everything about this is all branding, right? So we're constantly being bombarded by branding and advertising and information. So when you get to come home and in the privacy of your own home, pick up a book and leaf through it, and you see somebody that you know, or you read somebody's story, there's something that there is a visceral reaction to that. And I think that's where what we do, and not that other types of print like your flyers and stuff like that aren't good things, because I'm a full believer. However you can market yourself, do it. Do the Valpak, do the RFM, do the Reach, do the radio show, do the radio commercial, do the billboard, do all of those things. Go to the networking events, because if you do not tell people what you do, guess what? They won't know. They're not psychic.
That's right.
Shame on them. Shame on them. They're not psychic, right?
How do they not know?
Right, exactly.
How are they going to know?
How are they gonna? Right. Well, I have a sign outside. Well, that's great. Like, are people stopping when they're driving? I mean, but you put a sign outside your, brick and mortar, and you don't take it down the next day and be like, oh, people saw it, we're good. No, you keep it up there in hopes that your next client is going to be driving by, right? So
yeah, good point.
Let's talk a little bit about branding versus advertising, because I tell people all the time, all branding is advertising, but not all advertising is branding. And they are very, very, very different in my opinion. But share with you what your take is on branding versus advertising.
Your brand is really what speaks about who you are, what you offer, and what's going to happen as a result of what you do. So that's going to be reflected in literally how you conduct business, how you are with your family, how you are with yourself, and how you view the world with all of those components, as well as even things like money or whatever. So your brand is already speaking for itself before you even begin the process of starting a business, right? It's a personal brand.
Absolutely.
It's actually, you're facing forward and you're reflecting. It's interesting. I think about this. We attract what we are.
Correct.
Not what we want.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm learning this in my life in a huge way. So this is branding. This is a brand, and that's personal. So when you move it into a business, right, the brand can become personal, but also in the sense that, if you choose things like, what do I offer? Well, here's what I love to do. Here's what I don't so much like to do. I don't want to really reflect all that.
Right.
I want to make sure that I'm reflecting what I love and what I am really good at doing and also connect with. Right. So that will come out because it's something that you love to do and you're passionate about it and it speaks to you. It will come out as the gift that you present to the world, but it also comes in the form of things that you like colors, or images, things that you carry with you that mean something to you, that you apply to the business.
Absolutely.
So that is pretty much the second piece of the brand, when you start to sort of synergize that and make sure that all of that stuff is working for you and then bringing it out. But the bigger piece of that too, or a component is integrating the pain point, right? And making sure that that brand itself is not only what you're passionate about, but it really does meet a need in the community.
Absolutely.
It's something that you're presenting in such a way to, oh, they do that.
Mhm.
That's
I
what
need
they
that.
do.
Yeah.
And speaking to that pain point and knowing that that's something that's really universal
Mhm.
and that's not going to go anywhere. It's
Right.
not a fad. It's not a 5 to 10 year plan, but it's your life.
Right.
Your brand is personal.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So investing those pieces, that last part, that communication comes to life when all of those two first parts have really been integrated and you're ready to choose those options because you already know everything else about how you want to be reflected and how you want to do business and be how you want to be. And so that your brand is really the being of the business. Absolutely. And yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about what has been your experience owning. So you've been doing it for 6 years, twice the amount of time that I have been.
Okay. I
So
didn't know that.
now
I was
you know.
going to ask you.
Right.
Geez.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
September of 2021.
Okay. Okay.
22, 23, 20, yeah, 20,
Mhm.
September of this year will be my 3rd year.
Okay.
What has been your biggest challenge, do you think, so far in your business?
Yeah. Getting out of my own way.
Oh, I have know nothing about that.
Getting out of my own way has been the number one
Yeah.
hurdle.
Okay.
And that's personal development, personal growth,
Yeah.
trying to figure out all of that while I'm reflecting a brand, right? And we have the right to grow and change.
Absolutely.
So I think that piece has been getting out of my own way, and also just character things like just I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
Like I want to kind of be a little lazy, or I want to go travel a little bit and not right. So the
Right.
disengagement
Mhm.
along with that is probably the two things. And so we're not always intrinsically motivated in our
Right.
businesses, right? When we
Yeah.
go up and down and the
Mhm.
market changes and things come at us.
Correct.
So my mindset shift with that has been looking at things happening for me,
Instead of to me.
right? Instead of to me. And I have the ability, no matter what it is, to keep my mind focused on who I am,
Mhm.
what I offer, and what's going to happen.
Yep.
And the outcome, growing in the outcome, is more what happens with the habits along the way
Yeah.
and the growth that happens there,
Mhm.
because I can have a goal
Right.
and I want this outcome here.
Yep.
But if I'm doing the things that create the habits that create my identity,
Right.
all the things that I'm doing here because I have this goal of this may actually end up changing this goal here
Right.
to something else, because this growth of these habits while I'm going on this trajectory of growth
Right.
can pull in new experiences
Right.
and new people,
Right.
new opportunities, new business that changes that.
Yeah.
So it's an evolution.
Right.
And it's
not a destination.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
And I think as business owners, we have that, right? We have that,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I'm going to double my business this year. Well, what does that look like? And what habits do you have to create in order to,
Right.
to double that? And I think sometimes too, like, I think goals are good, right? To have a goal so that you have, okay, this is where I'm going to go. But I think sometimes we can, especially as humans, we can get so stuck, like you said, on that one goal
Mhm.
that we actually negate any additional opportunities that could come to help get us to that goal, or even better than what we anticipated.
Right.
Because you're like so stuck on, okay, I'm going to have 5 new sponsors. Well, you could have had 7 if you hadn't been so, I'm only going to have 5 new sponsors, right?
Get to the goal of 5
Get
rather
to the
than
goal of 5.
growth.
Growth.
And the habits you're building to get to the
Absolutely.
5 along the way
Absolutely.
may bring you 19.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So having that growth mindset,
Yeah.
and like you said, I one of my favorite saying is, if you thought you knew me yesterday, let me reintroduce myself.
Right. Or last like 5
Or
minutes
last
ago.
5 minutes ago.
Literally.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, I've had moments where I'm like, oh no, I'm a brand new person.
I'm a brand new person.
And
Yeah.
that's really true. But here,
Yeah.
in your core, right? But
Right.
then the habits, the things that happen here, you want to reflect in your identity.
Correct.
Right. So you're growing and you're doing them and you're creating these habits. And I'm just now learning this part. Right. And so stay tuned. As a good friend of mine said, don't be sharing out all the things right now because you're learning and growing and you're in this place. Don't share all the things.
Right.
Hold this for yourself.
Yeah.
Let this growth happen. And then when you have had a huge impact and things, you know,
Right.
share that.
Yeah.
Let that be the testimony rather than the gab along the way.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that was great advice. Thank you. So,
well, sort of like what you talk about when you
Yeah.
are working with businesses, right? Like it's the communication part of it that you're just saying, oh, I could go out there and say, okay, I'm going to do these things. But if you haven't if you haven't gone through the growth, if you haven't built the foundation,
mhm,
like one, your thoughts or your desires could change, right? And then two, like there's so much that needs to go into that it does need to be an internal
Yeah.
retrospection of like, okay, let me get really, really solid on this.
Yeah.
And then let me tell you what's going
that's
to
right.
happen.
That's right. So,
So
great advice.
yeah, so whoever said that was fantastic.
Yes. So anyway.
So anyways, so we're moving on from that.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you sharing your journey. Thank you for being my friend, first and
And
foremost.
likewise.
It's
You've
been an
definitely
absolute,
yeah,
yeah.
it has been amazing.
It has been an amazing journey. So you guys make sure that you
We're
follow.
looking in here now.
What's
Can we
that?
look at the screen?
Yeah,
Where are
you
we
can-
looking? Where are we supposed to look? Is there a place to
Wherever,
look?
there's
Hi,
wherever.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Is it that one? Or
That camera. it can
Oh,
be
there's
either.
like more than one?
Yeah, there's more than one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
so that one's on Facebook.
Okay,
And I tagged you on that
Yeah.
one, and this is Zoom, and that's what's gonna go on to YouTube.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
so make sure, I'll tell people how they can follow you or how they can connect with you.
Oh, you had to do that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So with Instagram, it's just Midlothian Lifestyle or Short Pump City Lifestyle. With Facebook, the same, right? Midlothian Lifestyle and Short Pump City Lifestyle. LinkedIn, also the same, but it would be through my Aaron M. Swart, MSW. And then you'll see the business pages under that. And gosh, what else? I mean, the Brand Artisan Consulting Group, you can find that on the website, www.brandartisanconsulting.com. And yeah, I'm trying to think of, I mean, there's more, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Well, I mean, if you go to one of
Just-
those pages, you're gonna
you'll
be able
find
to,
it.
you'll be able to link back, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, we're all researchers, so if we want to find something, we can find something. So
Yep.
again, thank you for being here. It's been
Welcome.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
And so make sure that you tune in next time. I have Erica Baez, who's actually coming in. So she is oh Lord, sorry, girlfriend. She helps buy and sell businesses.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you are interested in purchasing a business, she is a broker. That's what she is. She's a business broker.
Nice.
Ah.
She's probably like, oh, yay.
Right. Yeah.
Reflected my brand.
Right.
Awesome.
Exactly.
You know what? We're not perfect.
No, we
We're-
aren't.
We're a work in progress.
Absolutely. And that's the beautiful
I'm
thing.
loving that you even remembered to introduce like the next one. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's
Did
the
you-
first time I've
Did
done
you?
it.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, did you introduce me last or 2
I did
weeks?
not. I
See,
did not. Sam terrible.
You're not terrible. It's just a new habit.
Learning.
You're just a new habit.
Yes, absolutely. So make sure you tune in next
Yeah.
time and make sure that you tune into Mike's show as well too. And Joanna Smith, who's a friend of mine, you will hear this on Monday morning at 5 a.m. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. Until we see each other again, my friends, I am always cheering for you. Have a good one.